Hello everyone and welcome to Figure Friday. Today we're going to be reviewing another Polynian figure from Daibadi, and this time we're reviewing Emir. His name is written in katakana as Emiru, but obviously enough, that is a borrowed word since it's in katakana, meaning his name should just be Emir. As per usual, we have a low opacity silhouette style picture of him giving a bit of a salute in the back, and another picture of him holding his little pistol and dressed in his cute little boy's attire, complete with hat. On the side of the box, we have him posing, showing off his robo booty. The other side is a close-up shot of him, looking very happy to see you. And on top, we have another image of him looking rather happy to see you. As we've become used to on the back, there is a plethora of poses of him, showing him with his accessories. And with that, let's flip around to the front. Emir is no different in the fact that he has a window display when you open the figure. We'll peel the plastic. We see the open window with him in there looking happy to go, and some pictures of him drawn in an anime style, him holding his pistol, and some details of the figure, as well as them showing his accessories as well. We have our blade today, so let's cut the box open and see what's in there. So with the box open, we can take a look at our figure. He comes with a pair of open hands, a pair of closed hands that can hold an accessory, a bit of a bracelet, a closed eye, winking happy face, and an open mouth face that makes him look a little upset. And his standard face is, of course, that very happy face. Additionally, he comes with his shield, his pistol, his briefcase, and of course, the hexagonal stand that they all come with. Now, I did call it a shield, but it also doubles as his hat, so we'll get into that in a moment, but I just wanted to correct myself before people started doing so for me. As usual, the accessories look great. His hat/shield has a bit of a joint on there so that can be posed, and his pistol's nice, has a nice bit of chunk to it, some highlights in there, and just good detail overall. The briefcase is a lot like the one that comes with Yume, and it's fairly well detailed, but nothing really special. As is usual, we have a wonderful sculpt and very great details on everything, great paint applications, and man, he's just very satisfying to look at. That's the back of him. Looks great, so much accent in the uniform. He's got those chunky boots that Yume had. And overall, this character just looks really nice. I don't see why this one didn't sell as well. I'm loving the accent of the tie. Very cute, a lot like Yume's tie, but this one actually seems to have a little bit of flex. I wouldn't trust it too much because I feel like that could crease if you flexed it too much over time, but still definitely a step in the right direction with this one. I did say that I was nervous about his tie being too inflexible, sort of like Yume's, but they seem to make it a little bit better. With that said though, there is something else that can be done with this figure. As you see, Emir is supposed to be a boy. This is made all the more evident when you take off that lower part of his codpiece and you see his real codpiece. He's also got a little bit of a weird butt. But yes, as I was saying, this figure, there's something you can do to adapt it. I think this was due to poor sales because Emir was the only figure that I saw up for grabs even like a month after he came out. Maybe he just wasn't cute enough for the people that liked traps like Shamrock, but he just didn't seem to sell well because I saw him available for some time, and when I sold my double, he didn't sell very high. Now because of this, I think this is why they made the additional pieces. They released what was called the Emir Feminization kit. The kit was an additional pelvis as well as a single ponytail that would plug into the side of his head, which was cute. It looked like a little side ponytail, and it made the character look remarkably feminine. These parts were not included with the figure. They were released after the launch of Emir, and they were sold as an additional set. It was just under 900 yen for you to buy the Feminization kit and turn this character that was already about $50 into another character, which I think is fair, but at the same time, if it was just because they wanted to boost sales on this poor selling figure, I think that would have been kind of slimy, but either way, this is all speculation. Let's talk about its articulation. This figure, of course, has the many ball peg joints that we've come to know and love from the Polynian line, and it allows him to pose just about as well as any other. He has a little bit of extra chunk thanks to his uniform, but it doesn't seem to get in the way, like the skirt did with Yume. His legs actually have a decent in and out, as well as a swivel, and you can probably get him to kick out a lot better than you could Yume. Not a ton, but you can also remove this little peg in the back. And once you do that, that allows the shorts to move around. So if you don't want it to be as cumbersome, you can do that. And then it will cause a little bit of changing and shifting with that part, but ultimately you'll get more articulation. His knee is pretty much uninterrupted by anything, as well as his foot has pretty poor articulation thanks to that huge cuff. His elbow, of course, has the standard motion, nothing to write home about, but definitely better than his leg. His shoulder is decently rotatable, and his wrist doesn't seem to be bothered too much by that cuff, though a little bit of restriction is there. Yet another problem comes to us with this hat. Now, you can see that it plugs into the back of his head, sort of like how Yume's ponytail plugs in. And similar to Yume's ponytail, that is an incredibly tight joint right out of the box. Do not force this thing in if it's cold. You could snap the peg. That being said, I'm seeing a paint error on his hat, and I'm sure you do too. There's a bit of a scuff of the brown on the tannish color, and I can see this also over here in this little tiny adornment right there on the front of his cap, or I suppose that could be the side of it. One thing I didn't know was that these little things move as well, and they also come off. Not so sure if I'd consider that a feature, but I suppose the more poseability, the better. And he does look good with the hat on. Now, as much as I like this little bracelet, it is very flimsy, so do be careful that you don't stretch it out too much putting it onto the character, though it doesn't seem like it would be too problematic. It's soft enough to be able to bend, but I think over time it's just going to wind up flopping all over if you try to put him in any other poses. The gun is similar to the problem that we had with Mel, where it's a square peg going into a circle hole. So definitely attach that to the hand detached from the body, and then plug the hand into the arm. On his back, of course, we have a similar peg hole to the one that was on Mel, where you can plug in his little backpack or suitcase, whatever you want to call it. You could probably plug other accessories in there as well, or a Figma stand or Polynian stand if you have one. But here we have Emir, all suited up and ready for battle. He looks rather happy to do so, with his gun in hand, backpack on his back, and a smile on his face. I've got to say, I rather like this figure. It looks really good. As I said with Mel, his design catches your eye. It keeps you pleased to look at him because he has chunk at the bottom, the middle, and the top. The detail guides your eye to continue to looking at his form. So to be honest, I really don't get why he might not have sold. And here we have him making a bit more of a dynamic shot. As you can see, I've attached his hat to his waist, which makes it look a little bit more like a shield, kind of. And as you can see, I had no problem getting a nice dynamic pose out of him. And I think I just realized something else I liked about this character. He looks a lot like Link from Zelda. I mean, you have to use your imagination a bit, but they got the same hair color, they both have the sort of same bangs, and they have those long little tendrils coming down the side of their heads. They look pretty similar. They both have a cutesy face, and they're sort of both androgynous. And maybe this is why I keep thinking that his hat looks like a shield. You could repurpose it for something like this. I've also given him Yume's sword. I think it works pretty well.
If you don't stand back now, I'm gonna hit you with my hat.
Just give this boy a piece of toast and he's gonna look like he is running out the door on his first day to anime school.
Oh no, I can't be late on the first day.
As much as that paint error on his hat is making me mad, I still think he looks amazing in almost any of these poses I've done. The character is really nice, and I've got to give him the edge with his suitcase, because compared to Yume's, it actually has a little bit more detail. I'm honestly really surprised with how much I'm liking this figure in the end. And there you have it, 2 classmates in their natural environment. No, but in all honesty, I actually really do like this figure. He has a lot of character, and he's really cute. I do really enjoy the fact that that ambiguity of the gender allows it to become essentially 2 different figures if you buy the additional kit. Though, I do wish the kit was included with this first one. If you are interested in this figure, you can get him pretty cheap online, but if you want to wait, there's actually another version of him coming out that is actually advertised as the complete version, which is an alternate color, though it does come with the Feminization kit with this one. Though if you are a fan of these original colors, you can get Emir for about $50 to $60 online right now. People usually have him in stock and sell him with free shipping on eBay, so he might be worth a pickup if you're into this figure line. So in the end, what are we left with? Well, what we're left with is a pretty solid figure. Though there are some things I don't like about it, such as the paint errors that mine had, as well as some of the bulkiness of the waist that does limit his posability a tiny bit, I still think overall this is a very solid addition to the Polynian line. I went into this thinking I wasn't really going to like this figure, but in the end, I wound up loving him. The figure actually wound up having a lot more charm than I initially thought he might. For as good as this all went in the end, I have to recommend a purchase of Emir. He's a solid addition to the line. He looks different enough from the other characters to really be an individual on his own. And the fact that he can be extended with the Feminization kit really does add something to him. Originally, I was leaning a little bit more towards a 7, but I'm going to have to give him an 8 in the end. I wanted to say 7.5, but something about him just edges him right over there for me. He's got a solid... The build quality is great on this one. He doesn't fall apart like Yume does. The colors are satisfying to look at, and ultimately, he's just a great little figure. The character really won me over in the end, and I did enjoy opening and playing with it. And if you are interested in seeing more of these, stay tuned, because the next video is going to be our review of the Metoroido Pink, Motoroid Pink Polynian number 6. There may be a surprise video between now and then, but that'll be next Figure Friday. And if you want to see more figure reviews, go ahead and check out the playlist I'm linking on screen, and be sure to subscribe, like, and comment on the video if you have this figure, or if you maybe want it, or if there's something about it that you really did like. Thanks so much for watching, and keep on collecting.